This video ends the search, the only message Carl Jung wanted you to hear. Your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. Carl Jung. There comes a moment in every seeker's journey when the endless search must end, when the answers you've been chasing out there are found within. In today's video, this video ends the search. The only message Carl Jung wanted you to hear. We invite you to pause, breathe, and listen deeply to the wisdom that has always been whispering from within your soul. Let this message from spiritual wisdom remind you that true awakening isn't about finding something new. It's about remembering who you've always been. Before we begin, tell us in the comments, what truth have you recently discovered about yourself that changed the way you see life? Your reflection might be the spark that awakens someone else's journey. 1. The mirror principle. Every person, situation, or problem that crosses your path is not random. It is a mirror reflecting something within you that has not yet been fully understood, accepted, or healed. When you find yourself irritated by others, when life seems unfair, or when the same patterns repeat themselves over and over again, it is not because the world is against you. It is because life, through divine intelligence, is showing you the unintegrated parts of your own psyche. What you resist in others mirrors what you resist within yourself. The things you dislike, judge, or reject externally are often the very things you have suppressed internally. This is not punishment. It is a sacred invitation to awareness. The outer world merely projects the inner one, allowing you to witness what still needs to be brought into the light of consciousness. Most people live their entire lives fighting the mirror. They see enemies where there are only reflections. They believe that others are the cause of their pain, never realizing that their suffering comes from their own projections. When you judge someone's arrogance, it may be your own pride seeking humility. When you resent someone's success, it may be your own unrealized potential, longing for expression. As Carl Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The world becomes your greatest teacher the moment you stop running from its lessons. To fight the reflection is to remain trapped in illusion. To observe it with awareness is to begin the journey of spiritual awakening. When you stop fighting and begin to observe, the mirror transforms from an enemy into a guide. Every conflict becomes a compass, pointing you towards self-knowledge. The people who trigger you become messengers of hidden emotions, anger, fear, guilt, shame that are waiting to be healed. This is how spiritual growth unfolds, not by changing others, but by reclaiming your projections and owning your inner world. The moment you say, "This person is showing me a part of myself," you begin to integrate your psyche. You stop being a victim of life and become a conscious co-creator of it. The more you integrate, the more peaceful and whole you become. As you continue this process, you start to see that forgiveness is not about excusing another's actions, but about releasing your own resistance. You realize that every judgment separates you from your own soul, and every act of understanding brings you closer to divine truth. The mirror principle becomes a daily spiritual practice, one where every challenge becomes a reflection of your growth. Every emotion becomes a tool for transformation, and every relationship becomes an opportunity to awaken deeper compassion. Spirituality, in its truest form, is not about escaping the world, but understanding it as your reflection. The universe is endlessly compassionate. It repeats lessons not to punish you, but to make you conscious. The moment you recognize this, life stops feeling like a battlefield and starts feeling like a mere hall of awakening. Each reflection guiding you closer to your authentic self. And in that awareness, you realize that there were never external enemies, only unhealed parts of you calling for love, attention, and acceptance. That is the essence of spiritual wisdom. To see yourself in everything, and in doing so, to finally meet the wholeness you've been searching for all along. Do you see how life mirrors what you believe inside? If you do, affirm it in the comments below. I am aware of my reflection, and I choose growth. 2. Jung's discovery. You've never truly seen the world as it is. You've only ever seen it through the lens of your own mind. Every experience, every emotion, every judgment passes through the filters of your psyche, your complexes, your shadows, your fears, and your desires. What you call reality is not an external fact, but an inner reflection shaped by your perception. This is the essence of what Carl Jung discovered, that your unconscious continuously projects itself outward, painting the world with symbols drawn from your inner life. Until you recognize this, you live inside a dream that feels real, but is woven entirely from your own unseen thoughts. The faces you meet, the patterns that repeat, the circumstances that frustrate or delight you, are all mirrors showing you fragments of yourself. Life keeps sending you the same lessons wrapped in different forms because your psyche is trying to wake you up. You may think you are meeting destiny, but you are actually meeting yourself. Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." The purpose of spirituality and spiritual growth is to stop running from this truth and begin to see life not as a series of random events, but as a sacred dialogue between you and your soul. When you finally see that the people who trigger you are revealing your shadow, that the situations that challenge you are testing your awareness, and that the pain you avoid holds your deepest wisdom, your perception transforms. The world no longer feels like an enemy to be controlled, but a teacher to be understood. Your shadow, the parts of yourself you have rejected, becomes your greatest guide once you stop fearing it. Every negative emotion is a messenger pointing toward integration. This is how spiritual growth unfolds, through awareness, acceptance, and transformation of the unconscious into light. If you have ever wondered why the same experiences seem to follow you no matter where you go, it is because your consciousness has not yet evolved beyond the lesson they represent. You can change your job, your city, even your relationships, but unless you change the energy within, the same movie will play again with new characters. Life mirrors your inner vibration, not your intentions alone. The moment you understand that your perception is the projector, not the screen, you begin to reclaim your power. You no longer react, you respond. You no longer blame yourself. You no longer seek control, you cultivate consciousness. Spirituality, as Jung revealed, is not an escape from reality, but a deeper immersion into it with awakened eyes. It is realizing that you are not a victim of life's circumstances, but a co-creator of them. Once you understand that every experience, pleasant or painful, is an invitation to greater self-awareness, you begin to live with meaning rather than resistance. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" That shift in awareness is the beginning of freedom. Everything you encounter, every joy, every sorrow, every face is a reflection of your own consciousness trying to know itself. The universe does not punish or reward, it mirrors. When you grasp this truth deeply, your search ends because you finally see that what you have been seeking has always been within you. This is the silent message Jung left for humanity. The world outside is your soul turned inside out. And to awaken is to recognize yourself in everything you see. 3. The one problem and the one solution. Every problem you face in life, whether it's depression, anxiety, addiction, or the endless conflict in relationships, has one single root: unconsciousness. As Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Most of what we call destiny is simply unexamined habit, patterns that play out automatically while we remain asleep to our own motives. You think you're choosing freely, yet most choices are echoes of the past emotional memories that have never been healed, beliefs that were never questioned, pain that was never truly felt. The deeper truth is that nothing changes until you awaken to what drives you. Unconsciousness is not evil, it is blindness. It is living without truly seeing, reacting instead of responding, surviving instead of creating. Depression arises when the soul has been silenced for too long. Anxiety appears when the heart senses danger in living against one's truth. Addiction is not a moral failure, but a cry for connection, a desperate attempt to fill the emptiness that comes from spiritual disconnection. Every form of suffering is a mirror, reflecting what within you still asks to be seen. The more you fight it, the louder it becomes, because pain is simply awareness trying to return home. Carl Jung called this process individuation, the journey of bringing light into the hidden parts of the psyche. The unconscious holds everything we have buried: our fears, desires, resentments, and forgotten gifts. These shadows are not meant to be destroyed, but integrated. There is no coming to consciousness without pain, Jung wrote, reminding us that awakening is not comfortable. But this pain is sacred. It is the fire that burns away illusion. The moment you observe your anger instead of becoming it, your sadness instead of drowning in it, or your craving instead of being consumed by it, you step out of the dream and into truth. Awareness transforms experience because it allows you to see clearly rather than react blindly. Spiritual wisdom teaches that consciousness is the only true solution because it restores your power to choose. Awareness turns your suffering into guidance, your patterns into teachers, your past into wisdom. As Jung beautifully said, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. When you turn inward, you realize that the world is not attacking you, it is mirroring you. Every conflict is an invitation to meet yourself more deeply. What irritates you in another reveals what you have yet to love in yourself. What you fear losing shows you where you have placed your worth. To be conscious is to live in the present without distortion. To see things as they are instead of as your wounds paint them. It is to end the constant battle with reality and step into harmony with life. Consciousness doesn't remove your challenges. It transforms how you move through them. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start seeing, "What is this teaching me?" The moment awareness enters, confusion fades. Every problem dissolves in the light of understanding because it was never about the external event. It was about the unseen pattern beneath it. This is what Carl Jung wanted humanity to understand. Salvation is not found in escaping the unconscious, but in embracing it. Your shadow is not a curse. It is the doorway to your wholeness. When you make peace with what you once rejected, you reclaim your power. Spiritual awakening is not a final state, but a continuous unfolding. A daily practice of remembering who you truly are beyond conditioning, fear, and illusion. Consciousness is both the path and the destination. The gentle return to the awareness that has always been there, waiting for you to wake up and see. Are you ready to face the truth? Carl Jung tried to show us that the one problem you must solve is within yourself. If this message speaks to you, declare it in the comments. I am the solution. Let this be your affirmation, a reminder that clarity, healing, and transformation begin not in the world, but in your own mind. 4. The shift in perspective. Stop asking why life keeps happening to you and begin to see that life is happening through you. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This is the foundation of spirituality and spiritual awakening, the turning point where you stop looking for answers outside and begin searching within. The moment you shift from asking, "Why is this happening to me?" to "What part of my psyche is creating this?" everything changes. You stop playing the role of the victim and start understanding that you are the creator. Every moment, every experience, and every person you encounter is not separate from you, but a reflection of your inner world. What frustrates you, what inspires you, and what breaks you are all mirrors revealing your unconscious patterns, thoughts, and beliefs. When you awaken to this truth, the outer world loses its control over your emotions because you finally understand that nothing outside of you has real power. Only your perception does. You are both the projector and the screen, the dreamer and the dream. This simple but profound truth contains the essence of inner transformation. Think of your life as a film, and your mind as the projector that brings it to life. Most people spend years trying to change the movie, trying to erase scenes, edit characters, or escape the story. But the true shift happens when you realize that the movie only changes when the film inside the projector changes. That film is your mind, your beliefs, your emotions, your expectations, and your deeply buried memories. When the inner picture changes, the outer projection follows. That is why Jung said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes." The moment you begin to look within, you stop chasing illusions and start creating reality from a place of conscious awareness. This awakening doesn't mean running away from the world. It means seeing it more clearly. You start to notice that the people who irritate you are not enemies, but messengers. Mirrors showing you the parts of yourself that still need healing. The situations that challenge you the most are not punishments, but sacred invitations to evolve. Every obstacle, every disappointment, and every heartbreak becomes a classroom for your soul. Spiritual awakening is not about perfection or denial. It is about integration. It is about bringing together all the forgotten parts of yourself, your light and your shadow, your strength, and your vulnerability, and allowing them to coexist in harmony. When you integrate what you once rejected, you become whole, and from that wholeness comes true freedom. You no longer try to fix others or control circumstances, because you realize that the external world only mirrors your inner state. When you heal the conflict within, peace begins to show up in your reality. When you elevate your thoughts, life responds with greater opportunities. And when you forgive yourself, the world begins to soften around you. This is the essence of spiritual wisdom, understanding that your life is not a punishment, but a reflection, not a burden, but a mirror of your inner evolution. As your awareness expands, suffering turns into understanding, fear turns into faith, and resistance turns into acceptance. You begin to live from a state of quiet power, knowing that every experience is guiding you home to your true self. So instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What part of me is asking to be seen?" That question is the key that ends the search. The moment your mind stops fighting life and your soul starts awakening. You were never meant to fix the movie. You were meant to become aware that you are the light projecting it. And once that truth sinks in, everything outside you begins to align with the peace within you. 5. The self beyond projection. Beneath the surface of your thoughts and emotions lies something deeper, something untouched by all the noise the self. It's the silent awareness behind every thought, every feeling, every experience. This is what Carl Jung called the true center of being. You've spent so much of your life identifying with the chaos, your worries, your fears, your failures, believing they define you. But they don't. You are not your problems. You are the consciousness that perceives them. When you finally understand this, a door opens a door to real spirituality and spiritual growth. Because growth begins the moment you stop trying to fix what you think is broken, and instead recognize the one who is watching, the presence within that was never broken to begin with. Think about how often you've said, "I am anxious," or "I am lost." What if you saw anxiety as something happening in your awareness, rather than something you are? When you detach from the story your mind tells and rest in the awareness behind it, you stop drowning in the storm and realize you were the ocean all along. Individuation, the process Jung described, is not about becoming perfect or enlightened in some distant way. It's about shifting identity from ego to self, from the character in the movie to the one watching it unfold. The ego loves control, validation, and drama, but the self only observes with compassion and truth. The ego says, "I must win," while the self whispers, "I am already whole." The real journey of spiritual awakening is learning to live from that self instead of reacting from the ego. When anger rises, the ego shouts, "Defend yourself." But the self sees pain asking for understanding. When sadness visits, the ego says, "Something is wrong." But the self gently says, "Something is healing." You begin to notice how life changes when you stop over-identifying with every emotion. The noise of the mind quiets, not because you've silenced it, but because you've stopped believing it's all of who you are. Awareness becomes your refuge, the quiet observer that never leaves, no matter how much your outer life shifts. The ego fears surrender, yet surrender is not defeat. It's the discovery that you were never separate in the first place. You can still play your roles, work, love, and create, but now from a place of presence, rather than performance. The character keeps living, but the witness guides the way. Every challenge becomes a mirror that reflects where the ego still clings. Every irritation becomes an opportunity to practice awareness. You see, spirituality isn't about escaping reality, but embracing it with deeper consciousness. You begin to act not from reaction, but from recognition that every emotion, thought, and experience is just energy passing through awareness, not an identity to protect. This shift changes everything. Relationships soften because you no longer need to prove who you are. Creativity expands because you're not trapped in self-doubt. Decision-making becomes effortless because you trust the silent intelligence that arises from stillness. This is the sacred movement Jung spoke of, individuation, the merging of opposites into wholeness. It's not a theory, it's a lived transformation. Each time you return to awareness instead of reaction, you step out of the illusion of the ego and into the reality of the self. So remember this truth whenever life feels heavy. You are not the storm. You are the sky watching it. You are not the noise. You are the silence that hears it. You are not the pain. You are the presence that contains it. That awareness, untouched and infinite, is your true nature. And when you live from it, your spirituality is no longer something to chase. It becomes your natural state of being. Spiritual growth, then, is not about adding anything new, but removing what was never truly you. And in that recognition lies freedom, the kind that ends the search and begins real peace. 6. Living consciously. Living consciously, as Carl Jung revealed, is about awakening to the truth that everything in your life, every event, every emotion, every person is a reflection of your inner world. Nothing is random. Life itself speaks to you through the language of symbols and experiences. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. These words from Jung are not mere philosophy. They are a spiritual mirror. The moment you start to see that everything happening outside of you is connected to something within you, the entire structure of your life begins to shift. You are no longer a victim of circumstances. You become a conscious participant in the unfolding of your own reality. Every coincidence, every reaction, every dream becomes a message from the depths of your unconscious, guiding you toward greater awareness and wholeness. When emotions like anger, jealousy, or fear rise to the surface, the unconscious is speaking. Yet instead of observing, most people rush to fix what they feel, believing that healing means control. But Carl Jung taught that projection is not meant to be fixed. It's meant to be seen. The moment you try to fix, you separate yourself from your own truth. But when you simply observe, without judgment, transformation begins. Observation is awareness in its purest form. It's not resistance, it's recognition. Jung once said, "What you resist persists." The energy you push away doesn't disappear. It hides in the shadows, waiting for your acknowledgement. When you watch your emotions with awareness instead of fear, they begin to unravel. The shadow reveals its purpose, and pain turns into understanding. Even the smallest shifts in language can open profound doors of consciousness. When you say, "I am anxious," you fuse your identity with the emotion. You become the anxiety. But when you say, "Anxiety is moving through me," you step into the observer's seat and you become aware of yourself. This subtle difference in speech represents a massive psychological awakening. It reminds you that emotions are visitors not permanent residence. You are not what moves through you. You are the space that allows movement. That awareness is the essence of what Jung called individuation, the sacred process of uniting the conscious and the unconscious, of remembering that the self is both light and shadow. Spiritual wisdom begins where judgment ends. To live consciously is to walk through life as both student and witness, to allow every experience to reveal something sacred about who you are. The next time you are triggered, pause and listen. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this showing me about myself?" That single question transforms your relationship with life. The external world no longer feels like chaos. It becomes divine conversation. You begin to see that the universe doesn't punish, it teaches. Each moment is a mirror reflecting your inner state, asking you to wake up a little more. Carl Jung's timeless teaching reminds you that true change happens within. The outer world is a projection of the inner one, and every time you choose awareness over reaction, presence over judgment, you rewrite the script of your destiny. When you understand that life is not something happening to you, but through you, you awaken to a profound truth that consciousness itself is the bridge between the seen and unseen, the finite and infinite. Living consciously doesn't mean controlling everything. It means witnessing everything as part of your evolution. It means realizing that every emotion, every person, every challenge is not an obstacle. It's a message from your soul, gently guiding you home. And remember, Carl Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." The real search was never out there. It was always within you. Let this message be a reminder that your inner world creates your outer experience, and every step towards self-awareness brings you closer to peace, purpose, and truth. If this video has touched something deep within you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. Turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our upcoming videos that continue exploring the depths of the human soul and the mysteries of consciousness. Until next time, keep growing, keep awakening, and keep listening to the wisdom within. Unlock the quantum code. What happens when your subconscious finally connects? Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Carl Jung's timeless words remind us that the greatest transformation happens not outside, but within. In today's video, we'll explore what truly unfolds when your subconscious finally connects, when your inner world and outer reality begin to speak the same language through energy, awareness, and intention. Have you ever felt that life's patterns were guiding you towards something deeper, almost as if the universe was whispering in code? If so, you're in the right place. Stay with us, reflect deeply, and share in the comments how your subconscious has revealed hidden truths in your own journey of spiritual awakening. 1. Reality control and subconscious reprogramming. Your reality is constantly being molded by invisible systems designed to influence your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Every advertisement, every social expectation, every cultural message works subtly to shape what you believe is possible for you. Over time, this external conditioning infiltrates your subconscious, the true command center of your life. It's where your deepest beliefs, fears, and self-concepts are stored, silently dictating how you experience the world. When Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate," he was revealing a profound truth about human existence, that most people are not truly living. They are being lived by the hidden programs within them. From birth, you've been absorbing data from your environment like a sponge, your family's values, society's standards, and the world's definitions of success and love. These impressions become imprinted into your subconscious mind, shaping your emotional responses and behavioral patterns long before you ever make a conscious decision. Without realizing it, your life becomes a mirror reflecting these inherited beliefs. You attract relationships that reinforce your fears, careers that echo your doubts, and experiences that validate your inner programming. This is why spiritual awakening is not a single revelation. It's a lifelong process of remembering who you are beneath the conditioning. The modern world thrives on keeping you distracted from this truth. Every system around you, from the media to the economy, depends on your unconscious participation. It wants you chasing validation, buying into fear, and mistaking stimulation for happiness. But true spirituality begins when you pause long enough to observe your own thoughts. The moment you notice a pattern of an old wound repeating itself, a fear you keep obeying, you've already started reprogramming your subconscious. Awareness is the first form of rebellion. The more you watch without judgment, the more you weaken the grip of the old narrative. Your subconscious doesn't respond to logic. It responds to emotion and repetition. This is why healing, meditation, visualization, and affirmations are so powerful. They bypass the analytical mind and plant new beliefs directly into your inner system. Each time you affirm your worth, visualize abundance, or release an old emotion, you're literally recoding your energetic frequency. You begin to send out new signals to the universe, and life starts to rearrange itself to match that vibration. What once felt like resistance becomes flow. What once seemed like coincidence begins to look like divine synchronicity. As your subconscious aligns with your conscious intention, a quantum shift occurs. You begin to sense life differently, not as something happening to you, but as something happening through you. The boundary between thought and reality blurs, and you realize that the outer world is merely a projection of your inner state. This is where spirituality and psychology merge. Jung's teachings reveal that integrating the conscious and the unconscious is the key to wholeness. When your mind and soul move in harmony, you unlock what can only be described as the quantum code of existence, the point where awareness becomes creation. Spiritual awakening, then, is the art of remembering that you were never meant to live as a product of control, but as the architect of consciousness itself. Reprogramming your subconscious is not an act of defiance against the system. It's the ultimate act of freedom. It's how you reclaim authorship over your destiny and dissolve the invisible chains that once bound you. The external world may still try to influence you, but once you master your inner one, you rise beyond it. This is where the real transformation begins. Not in escaping reality, but in realizing you are the one shaping it. Do you believe that your mind has the power to shape your reality? If you do, affirm it with conviction in the comments. My subconscious is awake, and I am in control of my reality. 2. Energy awareness and human potential. Energy is the current of existence that flows through every living being and every corner of the universe. It moves silently through your thoughts, emotions, and body, shaping the reality you experience. When you become aware of this energy, when you start to feel it move within you and learn to guide it through the natural pathways of your body, your life begins to change in ways that feel both subtle and miraculous. Your focus deepens, your body strengthens, and your mind clears. You begin to sense that you are not separate from the energy of life, but an essential part of its flow. This understanding is not fantasy. It's the meeting point between science and spirituality, where physics meets consciousness. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." His insight reveals a profound truth. Your subconscious is not just a psychological construct. It is an energetic system that mirrors the patterns of your awareness. When you illuminate what's hidden within you, you begin to consciously participate in the creation of your reality. Spirituality teaches that energy follows attention. Every thought, every emotion, every word you speak carries a frequency, sending signals into the quantum field, a field that holds infinite possibilities. When your awareness is low, your subconscious simply repeats the same energetic loops of fear, worry, or doubt, and you attract more of what matches that vibration. But when your consciousness expands, when you become aware of your inner world, those old loops dissolve. You start to feel how peace attracts clarity, how gratitude amplifies abundance, and how love restores harmony. This is spiritual growth, the moment you realize that energy is the bridge between your inner state and the outer world. Jung believed that consciousness and energy are one and the same. He saw the human psyche as a living field of energy, an interface between the visible and invisible realms. When your subconscious finally connects with your conscious mind, a powerful integration takes place. You no longer feel divided. The conflict between who you are and who you pretend to be begins to fade. You start to live from your authentic center, guided by a higher intelligence that flows through you. This is what it means to unlock the quantum code, to awaken to the reality that your energy is the language of creation. Ancient spiritual practices like meditation, breathwork, and mindful presence were designed to help you sense and direct this energy. Every conscious breath strengthens the flow of life force within you. Every moment of stillness realigns your energy with the rhythm of the universe. And every act of awareness turns unconscious reactions into deliberate creation. The more you cultivate this awareness, the more you realize that energy is not something outside of you, it is you. Through this awareness, you learn that spiritual growth is not about escaping life, but mastering your energy within it. It's about responding instead of reacting, creating instead of complaining, observing instead of resisting. Every challenge you face is an energetic initiation calling you to refine your vibration, to rise beyond the chaos of the mind and return to the harmony of the soul. You are not a victim of energy, you are its conductor. The field around you responds to the frequency you emit. So when you feel unbalanced, it's not a sign of failure, but a reminder to realign with your natural frequency of peace. The secret is simple, yet profound. Energy flows where your attention goes. Direct it toward love, and life mirrors it back. Focus it on fear, and the same law applies. The more consciously you guide your energy, the more your external world begins to reflect the serenity and strength within. This is the heart of spirituality, and the true purpose of spiritual growth is to awaken to your role as a conscious creator of reality, to harmonize with the universal flow, and to remember that the power you seek has always been your own. 3. Quantum entanglement and universal connection. Quantum entanglement reveals a profound truth that modern science is only beginning to understand, that everything in the universe is deeply connected beyond the limits of space and time. What happens to one particle instantly influences another, no matter how far apart they are. This isn't just physics, it's a mirror of your own inner reality. Your thoughts, emotions, and intentions don't stay confined within your mind. They ripple outward, touching people, places, and even possibilities across the fabric of existence. As Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. In this way, quantum entanglement is not just a phenomenon of matter. It's a revelation of consciousness, reminding you that your inner world is not separate from the outer world. It's part of the same cosmic network. Once your subconscious begins to awaken to this truth, something extraordinary happens. You stop seeing yourself as a separate being and start feeling the pulse of the universe moving through you. Every emotion becomes an energy signal. Every thought becomes a vibration that contributes to the harmony or disharmony of the whole. This is why Jung's idea of the collective unconscious fits perfectly within the quantum perspective. There is a shared field of awareness that links every soul, every dream, every experience. You are never thinking alone. You are resonating within a universal field that records and responds to every frequency you emit. Spiritual wisdom teaches that when your inner frequency rises through love, gratitude, and awareness, you begin to shift your entire reality because you are aligning with the higher order of the cosmos. The illusion of separation begins to fade the moment you recognize that everything from the beating of your heart to the movement of galaxies follows the same rhythm. Fear loses its power because you realize there is nothing outside of you. Everything is happening through you. As Rumi beautifully wrote, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. When this understanding sinks into your subconscious, you begin to live differently. You no longer struggle to control life. Instead, you collaborate with it. You trust the unseen intelligence that connects every event, every encounter, every breath, knowing that the universe is always responding to your vibration. Synchronicities become your language with the divine, those perfect coincidences that arrive when your inner and outer worlds merge into harmony. You start to see how your thoughts shape events, how your emotions attract reflections of themselves, how your focus determines your experience. Each act of awareness becomes a form of creation, and each moment of love becomes a wave that expands across the quantum field. This is why awakening is not an escape from reality, but a deeper participation in it. When you are conscious of your energy, you realize that every prayer, every intention, every heartbeat is being received and mirrored by the universe instantly, just like two entangled particles responding across an infinite distance. Quantum entanglement is not just a scientific mystery. It is a living metaphor for who you are. You are a bridge between spirit and matter, a conscious creator wired into the universe's intelligence. When your subconscious finally connects, you remember that you were never disconnected at all. You were simply unaware of your own power. The moment awareness meets energy, transformation begins. That is the hidden code of the universe, and you are the key that unlocks it. Share your reflections below. How do you experience this deep sense of connection with the universe? I'd love to hear your insights on quantum entanglement and the subconscious. Let's explore this truth together. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom so you never miss our next awakening video. 4. The subconscious mind as a quantum processor. Your subconscious mind is not just a hidden part of your brain. It is a living, breathing quantum processor, constantly shaping the fabric of your life in ways your conscious mind can barely comprehend. While your conscious mind thinks linearly, analyzing, comparing, and deciding, your subconscious operates at the level of pure energy, processing information millions of times faster, effortlessly connecting emotion, memory, and frequency into one unified field of creation. As Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." In the realm of spirituality and spiritual awakening, this truth becomes the foundation of transformation, because what you hold in your subconscious becomes the invisible blueprint of your destiny. Your subconscious cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is imagined. It responds only to emotion and repetition. This is why visualization, affirmation, and deep feeling have the power to reprogram your internal world. When you visualize something with emotion, wealth, peace, love, or success, you are not pretending. You are sending coded signals into the quantum field. The energy of belief becomes matter in motion, and over time, the universe begins to organize itself around that vibration. Modern neuroscience echoes this spiritual wisdom, showing that when you vividly imagine an experience, your brain activates the same neural circuits as if you were truly living it. This means your subconscious perceives imagination as reality, and through that perception, you begin to manifest it. Jung believed the subconscious was not isolated, but connected to the collective unconscious, a shared field of wisdom linking all human souls. Through this deeper connection, your mind becomes a receiver and transmitter of frequency within the universal energy web. This is why, when you raise your vibration through positive focus and self-awareness, you start to experience synchronicities, perfect alignments that feel guided by something greater than chance. People appear in your life at the right time, doors open effortlessly, and opportunities that once seemed impossible begin to flow toward you. These are not coincidences. They are reflections of resonance. When your inner world vibrates in harmony with your desires, reality adjusts to meet that frequency. Yet the subconscious is not only a field of potential, it also holds your pain, fears, and old emotional imprints that distort your frequency. Spiritual awakening, then, is not only about creating new beliefs, but cleansing old ones. Jung called this process individuation, the integration of the shadow into the light. By facing your repressed emotions with compassion instead of avoidance, you dissolve energetic blockages that once kept you trapped in repetitive cycles. Each act of awareness rewrites the quantum code of your subconscious. Each healed wound restores coherence to your energy field. In this sense, every emotional breakthrough becomes a shift in vibration that moves you closer to your higher self. As this transformation unfolds, your subconscious no longer works against you, but for you. It becomes an open channel for divine intelligence to flow through, aligning you with higher states of consciousness and purpose. Your emotions evolve from reactions into instruments of guidance, your thoughts from noise into intention. The more consciously you live, the more the universe mirrors that consciousness back to you through synchronicity, clarity, and peace. This is the sacred union between energy and awareness, the point where your subconscious finally connects with the infinite, where the invisible begins to take form, and where spirituality becomes the living proof that the mind and the universe are one continuous field of creation. 5. Synchronicity and the law of attraction. Carl Jung's idea of synchronicity opens a door into the hidden mechanics of spirituality and spiritual growth, showing that what we call coincidences are actually reflections of our inner focus. Every thought you hold is not just a passing spark. It is a frequency that vibrates through the field of existence, shaping the events, people, and outcomes that appear in your life. The energy of your mind is a signal broadcasted into the universe, and what you pay attention to is what returns to you. When your thoughts are scattered, life feels chaotic. But when your intention is clear and emotionally charged, it becomes a magnetic force that pulls the right experiences toward you, often in mysterious and unexpected ways. Synchronicity is the universe's way of speaking in symbols and timing rather than words. When you start noticing repeated numbers, meaningful encounters, or perfect timing that feels almost scripted, it's not luck. It's your consciousness aligning with the greater pattern of life. Jung understood that the psyche and the universe mirror one another, and that our inner world is not separate from the outer one. Every emotional frequency you emit ripples through the quantum field, gathering experiences that match its vibration. Fear, doubt, and scarcity create resistance, while gratitude, faith, and clarity invite flow. Your subconscious mind is the bridge between the seen and unseen, translating your dominant inner state into physical experience. The law of attraction operates on this same principle. Energy attracts like energy. It is not merely about thinking positively, but about feeling in harmony with what you seek. When your emotions and beliefs support your vision, your subconscious begins to reorganize reality to reflect it. The more awareness you bring to your inner dialogue, the faster the synchronicities appear. They are not accidents. They are confirmations that your inner transformation is working. Each sign, each alignment is a whisper from the universe saying, "Keep going, you're in tune." When your subconscious finally connects, your perception changes completely. You start to see how your life has always been a conversation between your soul and the cosmos. Your thoughts become instruments of creation. Your emotions become magnetic fields, and your attention becomes the architect of your destiny. This is the essence of spiritual growth, realizing that your consciousness is the creative power shaping every moment. The universe is not outside of you. It's responding to you. And when you live in that awareness, every coincidence becomes divine guidance. Every challenge becomes transformation, and every thought becomes a seed in the garden of your reality. If you're ready to align your mind with the universe, repeat after me. I am one with synchronicity. My subconscious is now connected to the flow of divine timing, and the law of attraction is working in my favor. Believe it, feel it, and let the quantum code unfold within you. 6. 3 laws of quantum manifestation. Everything in the universe is energy. And as Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. The moment your subconscious connects to the deeper truth of reality, you begin to unlock what could be called the quantum code, a spiritual awakening where energy, thought, and creation merge into one stream of divine intelligence. According to spiritual wisdom, there are 3 fundamental laws of quantum manifestation that shape your reality. The first is that energy follows attention. Whatever you focus on consistently begins to expand. Your thoughts are not passive. They are frequencies that inform the universe about what you wish to experience. When you constantly think about fear, scarcity, or failure, your energy field vibrates at that same frequency, attracting more of it into your life. But when you consciously focus on gratitude, abundance, and peace, the same law begins to rearrange the universe in your favor. This is not just positive thinking, it is energetic alignment. The universe mirrors the dominant energy of your mind and emotions. The second law states that energy matches frequency. In other words, you cannot attract something that you are not in harmony with. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. If you desire love but carry resentment, if you seek wealth but believe you are unworthy, or if you wish for peace while feeding inner chaos, the vibration you emit will block your manifestation. To embody the vibration of your desires, you must first become what you seek. You must live, feel, and act as if your dream already exists. This is what Jung meant when he explored the power of archetypes and the collective unconscious. Our internal patterns shape our external world. When your subconscious truly believes you are abundant, loved, and capable, the energy of the universe begins to synchronize with that truth. The manifestation is not created, it is revealed, because you have finally become aligned with it. The third law declares that energy needs direction. Without clarity, your power disperses. The universe does not respond to confusion, it responds to precision. A scattered mind creates scattered outcomes. That is why setting clear goals is not just a mental exercise. It is a sacred declaration to the cosmos. When you decide exactly what you want without doubt or hesitation, you give the universe a map to follow. This focus channels your spiritual energy effectively, turning invisible potential into visible results. Just as light becomes a powerful laser when focused, your thoughts become powerful manifestations when directed with purpose. When these 3 laws of attention, frequency, and direction are aligned, results come naturally, without force or struggle. You enter a flow state where action feels effortless and synchronicities multiply. The subconscious mind becomes a bridge between spirit and matter, allowing you to experience the truth Jung hinted at. Reality itself is a reflection of your inner world. Spiritual wisdom teaches that the universe does not respond to your words, but to the energy behind them. So train your mind to dwell in gratitude, clarity, and unwavering faith. In doing so, you become a conscious co-creator of your destiny, proving that manifestation is not magic. It is alignment between your subconscious, your energy, and the divine intelligence that governs all things. 7. Neuroplasticity and emotional energy transformation. The brain is not a fixed machine, but a living, breathing universe capable of rewiring itself through repetition focus, and awareness. This is the essence of neuroplasticity, your mind's remarkable ability to transform itself when guided by consciousness. In the journey of spirituality and spiritual awakening, this becomes your secret code, the power to reshape not only how you think, but who you are. Every thought, every feeling, and every action sends a signal to your neural network, carving new pathways that define the way you experience life. The brain learns what you teach it, and it repeats what you rehearse most often. If your daily focus is stress, fear, or resentment, the brain strengthens those circuits. But when your focus shifts to peace, gratitude, and purpose, those are the frequencies that begin to dominate your mental world. Emotions, then, are not your enemies. They are pure energy in motion, waiting for your direction. Anger, fear, and sadness are not signs of weakness, but doorways to transformation. When anger arises, it brings the raw power of action. When fear surfaces, it carries the wisdom of caution. When sadness appears, it offers depth and empathy. Each of these emotions, when accepted and redirected, becomes fuel for your evolution. What we resist persists, Carl Jung once said, reminding us that suppression only strengthens the shadow. The moment you meet your emotions with awareness instead of resistance, you convert chaos into clarity, transforming emotional storms into streams of energy that can move mountains. Neuroplasticity and emotional energy work together like sacred partners. Every time you respond consciously to emotion instead of reacting unconsciously, you rewire your brain for higher consciousness. This means that through daily awareness and deliberate habits, you are literally teaching your mind how to sustain higher energy states. Meditation, breath work, or even the simple act of gratitude are not just spiritual practices. They are rewiring tools that carve new neural highways leading to peace, balance, and strength. You may not see the change instantly, but within weeks of consistent focus, the architecture of your brain begins to shift, and your emotional default moves from survival to expansion. This is how spirituality becomes science in motion. When you cultivate awareness and form new habits rooted in love, patience, and purpose, you're not escaping reality. You're designing it. The subconscious begins to connect with the conscious, forming a bridge between thought and feeling, between energy and matter. Your emotional energy transforms from reactive waves into intentional currents, and the frequencies you emit start to match the life you desire. Spiritual awakening is not some mystical accident. It's the natural outcome of a brain that has learned to harmonize with higher states of being. It's the point where neuroplasticity meets soul evolution, where every emotion becomes a teacher, every thought a sculptor, and every conscious choice a brushstroke painting the masterpiece of your awakened self. To honor your journey of transformation and mental mastery, declare your commitment today. Comment below, "My mind is rewiring for greatness," to affirm your faith in the power of neuroplasticity and inspire others to rise with you in this awakening of emotional energy and spiritual wisdom. 8. Quantum visualization and reality shifting tools. Visualization bridges the unseen world of thought with the tangible realm of experience, acting as the sacred intersection where mind becomes matter. When you create a clear image in your mind and infuse it with emotion, your energy field begins to resonate with that frequency, quietly signaling to the universe that this is your chosen reality. In spirituality, this process is not a metaphor. It is a law. Everything begins as vibration, and the energy of your thoughts is what first shapes the matrix of your life. As Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Visualization is how you begin to reverse that process, transforming fate into conscious creation and directing your subconscious mind toward your highest vision. The mirror method is one of the most intimate tools for this transformation. When you look directly into your eyes and affirm words of truth, love, and power, you are not simply talking to yourself. You are communicating with the deeper intelligence that shapes your destiny. Every time you say, "I am enough," "I am powerful," or "I am whole," your subconscious begins to rewrite the story it once believed. Over time, those affirmations dissolve self-doubt and build new neural pathways that align you with inner confidence and peace. Alongside that comes grounding, the essential practice of drawing your awareness back into your body and reconnecting with the steady pulse of the earth. While spiritual growth often lifts your energy to higher realms of awareness, grounding ensures you remain rooted in the physical plane, so the energy you cultivate can materialize in real life instead of remaining a fleeting spiritual high. Scripting is another profound practice that turns your thoughts into blueprints of manifestation. When you write your desires as though they have already come true, you are training your subconscious to accept a new vibrational identity. Words are not empty. They are frequencies that mold energy. Writing statements such as, "I live in peace," or "Abundance flows effortlessly into my life," teaches your subconscious to embody that truth. Paired with this is the energy bubble technique, where you visualize yourself surrounded by a radiant sphere of light. This bubble acts as both a protector and amplifier. It blocks negativity while magnetizing experiences that match your higher frequency. It reminds you that spirituality is not only about ascension, but also about energetic precision learning to consciously direct what enters and exits your field. The final practice, pattern breaking, is where true alchemy happens. Every time you interrupt an old reaction, shift a repetitive thought, or choose compassion over fear, you rewrite your internal programming. You are teaching your subconscious that change is safe, that new realities are available, and that you are no longer bound by your past conditioning. This act of awareness is a quantum shift in motion, the instant where the old vibration dissolves and a new one takes root. When combined with visualization, this becomes a cycle of renewal. You see, you feel, you act differently, and the universe mirrors your new energy back to you. Visualization, when practiced daily with emotional depth and awareness, is not escapism. It is a sacred technology for spiritual growth. It allows you to merge thought and feeling into a single, powerful vibration that reorganizes your inner and outer world. Through mirror work, grounding, scripting, energetic protection, and pattern breaking, you are not waiting for life to change. You are consciously sculpting the unseen architecture of your destiny. This is where spirituality meets science, and where transformation becomes inevitable. When the subconscious finally connects, reality no longer feels random. It becomes a reflection of your inner world. Every thought, emotion, and belief starts to shape what you attract. As Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So take a moment to reflect on what your soul is broadcasting today. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next video. Your journey to unlocking the quantum code of your mind has only just begun.